All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we have been waiting for. Richie Joplin and Kyle Holden have the front row. Stephen Gibson, AJ Godsey on the second. Zach Henson, Michael Whiting of the third row. Ray Hillhouse, Mark Nelson on the fourth. Jeff Hinkle and David Garman rounding out your top 10. Nick Sorensen and Drew Warren 11th and 12th. Kevin Reed starting in 13th. Scott Snodgrass in 14th. Eric Stoy in 15th. Richie West 16th. Mike Smith in 17th. Vern Spring in 18th. Michael Dow starting in 19th. Russell Worth in 20th. Jared Heasley starting in 21st. Aaron Mason 22nd. Caleb Bass in 23rd. DJ Kenner starting in 24th. Albie Hewen starting in 25th. Brian Mansfield in 26th. Mark Dantuma 27th. Rick Surgeon 28th. Gerald Thanos Poole 29th. Ty Dahlman in 30th. And Donald Durant's rounding out the 31 car field here at Indy. Levi out cheering on Kyle once again as the drivers get stacked up on the front straightaway. Everybody gets like Kyle's backing up. Whoops. Wrong gear, Kyle. Now he's going the right way. All the drivers head down toward turn 1 for their single warm-up lap here tonight. DJ Kenner may be having a problem. He is dropping to the back. Richie Joplin with the pole here tonight, looking for a little bit of luck to go his way. Everybody stacked up and ready to go. Competition caution tonight, lap 23. Good evening, Becky. Competition caution, lap 23. Drivers looking at 27 to 32 laps on a tank of fuel here tonight. Out of turn 4, they head down the front straightaway, getting ready for Barney the Flagman to wave the green flag at Indy. Green flag is in the air. They are down and away at the Brickyard. And headed off into turn 1. Everybody still side by side into the short chute. Richie Joplin clears traffic into the lead as they come into turn 2. On the bell, we've got cars hitting the wall. Looked like it might have been AJ Godsey that gave the wall a little kiss. Stephen Gibson now up into second place. Scott Snodgrass already up 5 spots into ninth before the first lap is done. Kyle Holden has had a problem right from the get-go. He is all the way back in 28th. Joe Campbell cheering on Gerald Thanos Poole and Albie Hewins. Hey, great job, Becky. Keep it up. Ray Hillhouse now up 2 spots into the top 5 as the field starts to spread out just a little bit. Mark Nelson on the bottom trying to get past Michael Whiting. Whiting manages to clear. Top 10, pretty much single file at the moment, just outside the top 10. A little bit of side by side. Scott Snodgrass in 9th, looking underneath Jeff Hinkle down the back straightaway. Not enough of a run yet. But Jim, you don't get to do the wrecking into everybody like we do. Scott now has a run underneath Jeff Hinkle. Most of these drivers planning on playing it a little bit safe until that competition caution. Richie Joplin, though, already out to 0.7 of a second over Steven Gibson. AJ Godsey another half second back, and a lot of drivers really pushing it off turn 2, about to kiss that wall. Becky, looking forward to seeing you out here. Gerald Poole now looking low underneath Russell Worth as they go toward turn 1. Russell half a lane up, but Gerald can't get the run. Jim, that is definitely the case. Looks like DJ Kenner also starting to make some moves. He lost some ground in the early going. Kyle Holden right on his bumper in 25th. And Jared Heasley has lost a lot of ground since the start, likely due to the fact he is driving a Ford tonight. Scott Snodgrass, so far the biggest mover, up 6 spots into 8th. Also on the move, Richie West up 5 spots into 11th. Ryan Mansfield up 6 spots into 20th. Mark Dantuma up 6 spots into 21st. And Gerald Poole now up 7 spots into 22nd. In pre-races, drivers have been seeing quite a bit of tire wear in this car tonight. Apparently an extreme amount of tow in this setup, causing the tires to wear rather quickly. Some of the drivers may be taking it easy here, trying to save the tires in the early going. Gerald Poole, however, is not, as he closes in on the back bumper of Mansfield. Now up 7 spots. Mark Dantuma also up 7 spots now into 20th. Meanwhile, Richie Joplin's lead continuing to grow. Now 2.1 seconds over Stephen Gibson, AJ Godsey, Zach Henson, and Ray Hillhouse. Scott Snodgrass has now gotten by Mark Nelson and David Garman, moving himself up into 7. Wow! Scott got quite a run and a little loose out of 2 there. Oh, Scott got the wall, just barely missing. David Garman, he's got it down on the runoff road. And gets it gathered up, but loses a ton of track position. Let's take another look at that. Garmy looking underneath as they go through 3 and 4. It does not get any closer. Watch this from the blip, zoomed in. Garmin had to have been catching his breath on that one. Richie Joplin's lead holding at a steady 2.2 seconds as AJ Godsey now on the attack for second place, looking underneath Stephen Gibson. Can't complete the pass quite yet. And after that incident, it appears Scott saw we've got a car around and caution. Ty Dolman in the wall. Our first caution of the night. Let's take a look, see what happened to Ty. Ty looking down on the inside on Scott, and looked like they just met in the middle. Headed off into turn 1. Ty starts up thinking he's clear, trying to set up for turn 1, and just comes across the nose of Scott. Drivers only have 4 sets of tires tonight, so don't expect anybody coming in for fresh tires here. Although it may come down to whatever choice Richie Joplin makes. Richie definitely did not want to see a caution here. He had a 2.2 second lead, had been pulling away since the drop of the green. Richie Joplin staying out. Stephen Gibson fakes to pit road, does not come in. Might see a few guys at the back of the pack take advantage. I fully expect to see Scott Snodgrass in for repairs. Yes, he is. Ty Dolman also headed in, as well as Albie Ewens. Scott definitely needing repairs. His car down to a modified at this point. let's see if we can get a word with our leader. Hey, Richie, it's Doug. You got me, buddy?
What's going on, Doug?
Hey, looks like you're having a little bit of fun up there, but you definitely did not want to see a caution.
No, I did not, but yeah, it happens. I want to see what I can do here and hold him off, try get a win in these cars right here that just don't fit my driving style.
Well, they seem to be fitting rather well here tonight. That Caterpillar car has been up front. You checked out to a 2.2 second lead until that came out.
Yeah, I think I started off too fast, too quick. I might have heated up right front, but I'll wait and see what happens.
Man, a great run so far. Looks like Lady Luck might be in your favor tonight.
I hope so. I need it.
Good luck, buddy.
Thank you.
Richie Joplin currently in the lead. Nobody in for tires. 3 drivers did pit for repairs. Ty Dolman, Albie Hewen, Scott Snodgrass. All 31 drivers still on the lead lap. Hey, good evening, Luke Dolman cheering on Ty. Ty has a long way to go after that incident. Now back all the way back in 31st. And it does not look like Ty used the fast repair. He did a manual, had the team do as many repairs as they could under caution. That car still got significant damage. Likely we'll see him on pit road for fast repair under the competition caution. They are stacking back up for the restart. Richie Joplin, Stephen Gibson on the front row, AJ Godsey, Zach Henson on the second row, Ray Hillhouse, Michael Whiting, Mark Nelson, David Garment, Eric Stoy, and Jeff Hinkle round out your top 10. Mark D'Antuma now up into 15th, up 12 spots, the biggest mover so far. Richie Joplin in control of the restart here. And since they're all back together, folks, I'm going to stop talking. Let you guys enjoy the noise. It is once again, folks, time to crank it up. Here we go. They fire. Green is back in the air. Crank up the volume, ladies and gentlemen. Back across the yard of bricks, headed toward turn 1. Stephen Gibson has taken the lead. And a lot of battling in the middle of the pack this time. Just 8 laps to go until the comp. Holy cow! It's getting really dicey mid-pack. Mark Nelson backing out of it a little bit. Mark D'Antuma taking advantage of everything. He goes 3 wide to the bottom. D'Antuma now up into 13th. A little cloud cover coming over the track. Cooling it off and giving these drivers a little bit more grip to work with. Richie Joplin has drifted back into 7th as AJ Godsey is now taking the lead. Hey, good evening, Brandon. Gourmets currently running in 6th. Somehow that Ford has not exploded yet. Top 10 once again, single file. The battle is on back behind. Newcomer Michael Dowd currently up to 23rd. It's Jared Heasley. Oh, gee, Heasley's in the wall. Brandon, I have to agree, and honestly, we are very disappointed in Jared Heasley. Very proud of him for running the MS Society paint scheme tonight, but he's running it on a Ford, and that really gives me a moral quandary. Speaking of the MS Society, we do have an MS Society fundraiser going on right now, trying to help raise $500 for the MS Society. You can find the link to donate on the Facebook page. AJ Godsey still in the lead, Gibson in 2nd, Zach Henson in 3rd. Early leader Richie Joplin has now drifted back to 7th with Jeff Hinkle all over the back bumper. Hinkle now looking low. Michael Whiting currently holding on to 6th. That is where he started, as Gourmets now up into 5th. And Ray Hillhouse is moving up into 3rd, coming by Zach Henson. We mentioned Mark D'Antuma is on the move now, up into 12th place, up 15 spots. Aaron Mason also on the move, up 8 spots into 14th. Gerald Thanos Poole quietly working his way forward as well. Gerald up 9 spots into 20th. Mike Smith currently holding on to 11th place, up 6 spots himself. But now D'Antuma through the short chute drops to the bottom. And Vern making a power move there as well. Vern up 5 spots. D'Antuma now up to 11th. Richie Joplin has drifted back to 10th. And D'Antuma is reeling in everybody. AJ Godsey currently in the lead. Mark Nelson has had a problem. He has gone off track. Mark coming. Oh, Vern hits the wall, collects Mark. Mark ended up upside down, could not get it returned. He had to call the tow truck. Mark was one of the top 4 in the championship last season, but his season has not started off well. Last week, technical difficulties at Dover sent him backwards, and now here at the Brickyard, problems here early. And speaking of problems here early, if there's a problem, she'll solve it. We have Nicole, that's what she said, Creasel in race control. Huge shout out to Nicole. She does an awesome job in race control. Keeping 31 drivers in check is no easy task. That young lady gets it done week in and week out. Mark Nelson is on his way back out off pit road. Albie Hewins had a problem a moment ago. Let's take a quick look. Oh, Albie just gets the wall in the short chute, I do believe between 3 and 4. Gets it down onto the apron, but manages to get her back up to speed and keep it going. Corner exit here is so tricky. Ray Hillhouse now looking down to the bottom, was trying to take third place, couldn't quite get there. Cloud cover has drifted off. The track going to heat back up a little bit. And coming down to the comp caution here in just a moment. AJ Godsey comes across the line. Competition caution is out. Lap number 23. So far, all 31 drivers still in the fight. 30 drivers still on the lead lap. Mark Nelson currently 2 laps down. Should be getting the lucky dog to get one of his laps back here. We also expect to see Ty Dahlman use his fast repair under the comp caution. He was losing a lot of ground early on. While we're under caution, folks, don't forget to hit that like, follow, subscribe. Most importantly, hit that share button. Invite your friends and family out. This season is going to be awesome. We've got a lot of awesome broadcasting going on. Tomorrow night, Jones BS Racing is back in. Hey, we've got something new and exciting coming this week as well. Not to mention streams during the day, and this week there's going to be a lot of Call of Duty. With the new Modern Warfare 3 out, we'll be playing quite a bit. Word from Aaron Mason spotter, they will be hitting pit road. I think we'll see everybody in this time. Aaron's car still in good shape and up 6 spots. Out of turn 4, should see everybody on pit road now. Scott Snodgrass is not coming to pit road. That is a bit of a shock. He last pitted on lap 11, but with the tire wear here tonight, this is a really gutsy move. Mark Nelson also staying out. He is not on the lead lap. Once he gets waved around with the lucky dog, we will expect to see him hit pit road. Let's see if we can talk to Scott and see what's going on. Hey, Scott, it's Doug. You got me?
Hey, what's up there, Doug?
Hey, you're the only one that didn't hit pit road. You've been out there for about 12 laps. Are you coming in?
Nah, I don't think I can burn a set of tires just yet, to be honest with you. Definitely got off pace with tires with the caution.
Interesting strategy with the older tires. Do you think you can hold these guys off for very long on fresh tires?
Oh, no, not by no means. No, they're just gonna eat me up coming out of 2. I already know that.
Well, hopefully you can get hooked into the draft and not lose too much ground. It's been a bit of a rough start to this one, but great fight back so far.
Appreciate it. Thank you, bub. Thank you, man.
Well, man, good luck, and hopefully we see a strategy pay off. Hopefully you can fight back, and we talk to you after the race.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's going to be a coin flip here in the first 5 laps here, so we'll try to stay everybody's way. I know they're going to be faster.
Well, man, good luck, buddy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Scott Snodgrass currently has the lead, but knows he is about to get 8 alive on those older tires. Looks like 4 tires and fuel for everybody. Weirdly, I do not believe Ty Dolman has used that fast repair yet. He still has damage to the car. He is holding on to that repair. Not sure about this strategy, if it'll pay off or not. Mark Nelson did get a wave around and did complete a pit stop. Now he has got to fight his way all the way back up to the front. Hey, good evening, Thomas. Y'all make sure to go check out Diamond in the Rough on Facebook. Order some candles, artwork, frisbee golf, frisbee things, because I don't know anything about frisbee golf. Sorry, buddy. Looks like the lights are out on the pace car, getting ready for the restart. Could see some very long runs. We could see this go green to the end from here. Pace car is in. Scott in control of the restart. Green flag back in the air. And AJ gets an epic launch. Scott manages to get it going without spinning the tires, but AJ quickly to the lead. Through 1 and 2 here, and oh, they're almost 3 wide out of turn 2. Things get a little close. Looked like Nick Sorensen caught it a little bit close, and now some 3 wide down, 4 wide down the back straightaway. Looks like Kyle Holden to the bottom, shooting the gap. Holden had problems early on in the race, now fighting his way back up. AJ quickly clearing traffic and has a gap on Stephen Gibson. Ray Hillhouse in 3rd. Scott on those old tires still holding on back in 6th. Ty Dolman, despite that damage, has fought his way back up to 27th. Mark Nelson starting to move forward in 28th. A big mess of cars right in front of him, including Richie Joplin, who appears to have had a penalty. Something went wrong on pit road. He has lost a lot of time and is now back in 24th. AJ on the front straightaway, dropping down to the bottom, trying to break the draft and give himself some breathing room. Gourmets surprisingly still holding on, and look who is in the top 5 now, Richie West. Everybody's starting to snake down the back straightaway as AJ tries for all he's worth to break the draft on Stephen Gibson. Mark D'Antimo, we've seen marching forward pretty much all night long, now up 19 spots into 8. And they are getting a little spicy about this weaving on the front on the straightaways here. As Kyle Holden just set the fastest lap of the race in 7th. Looks like quite a bit of sliding in the back half of the field as they come off turn 2. A lot of the drivers talking about really having to put the car on the right rear coming out of the turns. Scott Snodgrass continues to fall back on those old tires. Gets really close to the wall there through the short chute between 3 and 4. Richie Joplin, meanwhile, looking up the middle between DJ the Iceman Kenner and Brian Mansfield. The Iceman up 5 spots now into 19th. Gerald Poole now up 13 spots into 16th. Mansfield up 11 spots into 15th. D'Antimo once again in the middle of a 3-wide situation moves up into 6th. Gotzi had opened up 0.8 of a second as his lead, but now has no breathing room. Ray Hillhouse right on the bumper. Also on the move, Aaron Mason up 10 spots into 12th place. I know he's got help from his spotter, Kyle. Sounds like that team has worked out the bugs, and man, they are making this thing work. Zach Henson currently in 11th. Mike Smith currently in 10th. Michael Whiting in 9th. Ray Hillhouse got shuffled to the outside and is now drifting back as Stephen Gibson has gotten past AJ Gotzi and taken the lead. And Eric Stoy now up into 3rd. Eric up 12 spots. Richie West up 12 spots into 4th. Hillhouse in 5th. It's always fun watching these guys down the straightaways. It's even more fun when you're in these battles down the straightaway. You can always tell who got the better corner exit. They get that bigger run, they use that draft, and about halfway down the straightaway, they are flying by somebody. And of course, the weave as shown by Stephen Gibson trying to break the draft on the car behind you. cars mid-pack starting to make some moves forward, like Gerald Poole. Brian Mansfield just picked up a couple of spots, slid underneath Jeff Hinkle to take 13th. Mike Smith, we've got a car spinning on the front straightaway. Multiple cars, Garmin's involved. Caution is out only the second time tonight, lap 33. That incident happening right at the front. Wow. Let's take a look and see if we can see what happened coming out of turn 4. Richie West involved in this. Looks like the 2 of Hillhouse bumped him. He came down, bumped Mark Dantuma. Michael Whiting gets caught up in it, and anarchy. Jeff Hinkle, wow. Watch this again as Mark Dantuma gets the bump. He collects Gorman. Kyle Holden nowhere to go. Mike Smith catches a piece of it. Kevin Reed and Gerald Poole also catching a piece of it. And let's see if we can get on board with Jeff Hinkle. Comes out of turn 4. You can't see a lot when a car's in front of you, especially with this high downforce package. Folks, that is great wreck avoidance right there. Obviously, several cars taking heavy damage. A few catching little bits and pieces of it. Just past the halfway point, none of the drivers can go the distance from here on fuel. $35 laps to go. Nobody could go over about 31, 32 laps on a tank. So we don't believe anybody can go the distance from here, but will somebody try it? Expect to see quite a few on pit road for repairs. Might even see a few drop in for tires. Jared, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that. You're driving a Ford. What more do you expect? Let's see if we can get a quick word with the driver of the 23. Well, let's make sure he doesn't come to pit road here. It does look like Jeff Hinkle may have gotten a bump from behind. He is missing a rear body panel on that. Hinkle is not coming to pit road. Let's see if we can talk to him. Hey, Jeff, it's Doug. You got me?
I sure do, Doug. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I have to say the wreck avoidance skill there was really impressive.
No skill, all luck.
Does look like we saw you get through there. We even rode along with you through there, but it looks like at some point after that you may have gotten a bump from behind. You got a little damage on the back end.
Yeah, I've been told the bumper's missing, but I don't need that anyway, right?
No, that's exactly right. You don't need that. It'll probably make the car lighter and faster.
It's all just cosmetic. Yep, exactly.
Man, it's been a great run for you so far. How are you feeling about your chances here tonight?
Oh, I always struggle with this track, so I don't know. If I get a top 10 out of this, I'd be satisfied.
Well, man, so far so good. You're on the right track. Keep it up, man.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Well, Jeff Hinkle obviously very happy with his current situation. Biggest winner on that. There's two big winners on that situation. Aaron Mason currently scored in third. He survived. Don't see any damage to the car. And Brian Mansfield, who's now up into sixth. Also, DJ the Iceman Kenner being scored in eighth. But AJ Gotze and Eric Stoy, the teammates, have the front row here. And you know what, folks? Another restart, another chance. Let's crank it up. When the pace car hits pit road and the green flag comes out, I'm going to stop talking, crank up the volume, and hear all the horsepower. Green flag back in the air. AJ Gotze still has the lead. Stoy in second. Brian Mansfield now to third. Aaron Mason in fourth. Jeff Hinkle holds on to fifth, but Drew Warren looking underneath. Mark Nelson has fought his way back. He made it through the chaos and is now up in eighth place. What a night he has had. Stephen Gibson also up there starting to fight his way back. Richie Joplin starting to move forward as well once again after leading the first 10 or so laps. Weirdly, it appears Ty Dahlman still, no, he has finally, I do believe, used his fast repair. That car is back to 100%, but it does appear he's having connection problems. AJ Gotze, Eric Stoy, nose to tail. Brian Mansfield, Aaron Mason, Drew. Now Zach Henson looking underneath. Henson now to fifth. Drew Warren in sixth, Jeff Hinkle in seventh, Stephen Gibson eighth, Nick Sorensen in ninth, Mark Nelson holding on to 10th. Sorensen, a very accomplished road racer. You can see him race every Sunday morning in the GT3 NSS League right here. Had a great morning this morning. Richie Joplin to 11th. Mark Dantuma, after getting repairs, being caught up in that incident. Currently in 12th. Vern Spring in 13th. Kyle Holden back in 14th. Scott Snodgrass did pit under that caution, has changed tires, and fighting his way back in 15th. DJ the Iceman Kenner in 16th, Rick Sargent 17th, Gourmets all the way back to 18th now. Ray Hillhouse in 19th and Gerald Thanos Poole in 20th, battling with Russell Worth on the high side. Michael Whiting, who was up front earlier in this race, has fallen back to 21st. And Richie West, who was up there in the top 5 before that caution, is now all the way back in 25th. Still 31 cars on track, all 31 still on the lead lap. Oh, Scott in the wall again. I stand corrected, that may not have been Scott we saw in the wall a moment ago. May very well have been Russell Worth. As Russell battles with Jared Heasley. They are battling hard up front. AJ and Eric managing to pull away. Brian Mansfield now in third. Aaron Mason, Stephen Gibson right there with them. Richie Joplin now back up to 6th with Henson in 7th. Now Mark Dantuma to 7th. Now all the drivers will have to make one final stop. They will need fuel, most of them likely to be taking tires as Aaron Mason gets a little out of the groove through the short chute and loses a couple of spots. Stephen Gibson now looking under, has gone to 3rd. Richie now looks under Brian Mansfield. That inside line. Oh! Mansfield got a big bump from, I believe that was Aaron going off into turn 3. Looked like Mansfield got out of the gas a little bit sooner. Kyle Holden just cutting through traffic. Zach Henson, who's been in the top 5 most of the night, now back to 11th and under attack as Scott Snodgrass up to 12th. And this group from about 15th on back, about 16th on back with Jeff Hinkle, Gerald Poole, David Garman, and Kevin Reed going at it hard. The field really not breaking up here on this long run. Michael Whiting coming back into the picture, as is Richie West and the rookie Michael Dow. Kyle Holden now up into 6th. Dan Tuma in 5th. Looking underneath Eric Stoy, he's going to take 4th. Richie Joplin back up into 3rd after leading early. Stephen Gibson in 2nd, AJ out front. Impressive run out of AJ. This is definitely not AJ's kind of track. And Richie Joplin has not had a lot of luck in these cars in the past, but man, he is on the march tonight. So far, Mark Dantuma, the biggest mover. It looks like we may have had some problems out of turn 4 with Jeff Hinkle and DJ Kenner. Jeff Hinkle coming out of turn 4. And DJ Kenner actually does look like both of them come to pit road. Ty definitely having a rough night tonight after a good start to the season. Ty Dahlman came into the night second in points, 1 point out of the lead. Right behind AJ Godsey, who has now drifted back to fourth, as Richie Joplin has taken the lead and Mark Dantuma now to second. We saw Jeff Hinkle and DJ Kenner hit pit road for their final stop. Aaron Mason, Drew Warren, Brian Mansfield, DJ Kenner, Zach Henson have all hit pit road. Mark Dantuma shoots to the lead. AJ Godsey and Eric Stoy on their way in. A lot of cars have completed pit stops. As the leaders come by. Looks like word is 4 tires and fuel is the order of the day on this final stop. Caleb Bass, Rick Sargent also in. Mark Nelson is in. Mark Dantuma still in the lead, coming up on some lap traffic. Looks like he is going to try and stretch it. Might be able to get in the draft of the cars ahead. DJ Kenner, a lap down, comes under second place. Tries to get himself back to the lead lap the old-fashioned way. The Iceman cometh back to the lead lap. Mark Dantuma slips into the draft on the Iceman. Richie Joplin and Stephen Gibson not far behind. Kyle Holden also lurking. These guys up front look like they are giving up about a second and a half every lap on these old tires. However, having the draft off of a car on fresh tires is going to help just a little bit. AJ Godsey at the moment, the highest running car on fresh tires back in 19th. The top 18 have not been in yet. Drew Warren about to unlap himself. Stephen Gibson on pit road for his stop. Kevin Reed is in. Aaron Mason also coming by Mark Dantuma to unlap himself. Ty Dahlman is on pit road for his final stop along with Russell Worth. The leader is in. Mark Dantuma and Richie Joplin. Oh! Richie has a little problem getting her rode up. Kyle Holden goes by and leads for the first time tonight. We know from previous seasons Kyle Holden will stretch till the absolute last possible minute before he hits pit road for fuel. And it looks like some contact between the 35 of Drew Warren and the 75 of Aaron Mason have set them back a little bit. The 75 has some work to do. Mark Dantuma, Richie Joplin on their way back off pit road. Kyle Holden still in the lead, stays out. Sorensen in second. Vern Spring in third. Richie West fourth. Ray Hillhouse in fifth. The top 11 drivers are still have to complete their pit stops. Donald Durant's currently running in 11th. AJ Godsey, the highest running driver on fresh tires, in 12th. And the beautiful Angie James cheering on Richie Joplin, who was up battling for the lead prior to pit stops. Richie now still within striking distance of Mark Dantuma, but they still have to run down AJ Godsey as Richie West is on pit road. Ten cars left to come into pit road. Vern Spring has not completed his stop yet, currently in third. Michael Whiting back and forth. Mike Smith now on pit road. Richie Joplin just set the fastest lap of the race in 14th. Kyle Holden's lead now 4.4 seconds over Sorensen, Vern Spring, Michael Whiting. Holden still has to complete his pit stop. Sorensen heads to pit road. Vern stays out. Michael Whiting continues to stay out. Whiting has damage on the front end of his car. Steven Gibson also back on pit road. Nick Sorensen on his way back out. Does not look like Holden is coming in this time. 14, now it'll be 13 laps to go. The top three currently separated by 11.5 seconds. AJ Godsey, the highest running driver on fresh tires, 28 seconds out of the lead. Donald Durant is on pit road. Heasley is also in. Does look like Kyle Holden's got a little bit of bump draft damage. Only 6 cars left to complete their final stops. Does not appear Kyle Holden is conserving fuel at all here. I thought maybe he was trying to conserve enough fuel to go the distance, but it does not appear to be the case based on the lap time. Mike Smith coming by the leader on fresh tires. Mike currently in 23rd. And it appears Jared Heasley is done. Heasley out of the race, heavily damaged front end. Heasley had a problem a moment ago. Let's see what happened. Coming into the short, shooting 3 and 4. How many times tonight have we seen that happen? Bounce off that outside wall down to the inside wall and just ends the car. Although, to be realistic, that is what happens when you do something as immoral as putting an MS Paint scheme on a Ford, Jared. Yeah, exactly, Jim. Kyle Holden is giving up the lead. He is headed to pit road. Vern Spring is going to stay out, lead a lap to pick up some points. Scott Snodgrass and Michael Dow head to pit road as well. Keeping an eye on AJ Godsey, Richie Joplin, and Mark Dantuma, all who have completed their stops. Mark Dantuma, the highest running car that has completed his stop, currently in 4th. The 3 drivers ahead of him still have to make a pit stop. Vern Spring, Michael Whiting, and Ray Hillhouse. Eight laps to go. Done. Mark Dantuma still has Richie Joplin right on the back bumper. Mark Dantuma has 7 wins. Now Richie Joplin has pulled ahead. Mark Dantuma has 7 wins in BRR competition. Richie Joplin has yet to win a BRR Cup win. Checking the list, Richie Joplin has never won in BRR competition. Could tonight finally be the night as Ray Hillhouse goes by Michael Whiting to battle for second. Hillhouse down to second, but both of those drivers still have to make pit stops. However, Hillhouse is reeling in the current leader, Vern Spring. Mark D'Antuma, Richie Joplin still nose to tail. And they are closing in on the top three. Russell Worth has had a problem. He has gone off track. Here comes Vern Spring to pit road. Vern locking him up as he tries to get down to speed. Ray Hillhouse now goes to the lead. He leads at the line. Richie Joplin now back in the lead. And let's see what happened to Russell. Once again, just coming into the short chute, hitting the outside wall. Getting word Ray Hillhouse and Michael Whiting may not have to pit. This strategy may play out perfectly for them. But Michael Whiting is headed in. Four laps to go for Richie Joplin. Mark D'Antuma still lurking. AJ Gotzi has now moved back up into third. He is 3.5 seconds out of the lead. Ray Hillhouse still holding on to fourth. Kyle Holden back in fifth. Eric Stoy in sixth. Zach Henson seventh. Gourmets in eighth. Richie West in ninth. Jeff Hinkle holds on in 10th. AJ now almost 4 seconds behind the leaders with 2.5 laps to go. Caution! Caution is out. We're going to get a green-white checker. Caleb Bass and DJ Kenner involved. And this is definitely not what Richie Joplin and Mark D'Antuma wanted to see here. That kind of hurt. Let's see if we can get another look. Looked like the same situation we have seen all night. Caleb Bass just pushes into that outside wall, coming into the short chute, comes down and collects, looks like Stephen Gibson. And DJ Kenner also getting the wall, but manages to hold it up and not collect anybody else. Ty Dahlman, definitely a mess of a race tonight, buddy. It went downhill right from the start, but you'll come back next week. Still a long season ahead. AJ Gotze, Ray Hillhouse, Eric Stoy, Zach Henson, David Garman, Jeff Hinkle, Brian Mansfield, Drew Warren, Rick Sargent, Mark Nelson, DJ Kenner, and Aaron Mason all head to pit road. A green-white checkered with half the field on fresh tires. But a lot of drivers staying out, taking track position here. Richie Joplin, Mark Dantuma, Kyle Holden, Richie West, Gerald Poole, Nick Sorensen, Mike Smith, Scott Snodgrass, Michael Dow, and Kevin Reed. As well as Ray Hillhouse and Zach Henson, who had just, Ray Hillhouse did come to pit road. So the top 10 on older tires, everybody behind them on 4 fresh Goodyears. You know, we haven't talked to the First Lady of BRR tonight. Let's get it done. Nicole, it's Doug. You got me?
Yep, got you, Doug.
Well, obviously a green-white checkered here at the end. Probably the hardest part of your job is about to happen.
I think so.
About 10 drivers out there did not pit. Everybody else behind them on fresh tires. Things could get very chaotic very quickly.
Yes, I think that's going to happen because, yes, they're going to run each other over.
And, of course, there is the dreaded tire spin on the restart that could be a big issue here for those 10 drivers at the front.
Yeah, those Canadian drivers, so we'll chalk it up to a Canadian restart maybe.
Could very well be. If you had to pick, who do you think has the best chance of winning this right now?
I'm going to say AJ, but I want Mark to win.
Well, we're about to find out. Good luck. I think you're about to get really busy up there.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Huge shout out to Nicole. That's what she said. Creasel in race control. She keeps everybody in line, and that's not an easy task with these 31 drivers. Well, a green-white checker, 2 laps to go. Let's hear your predictions in the comments. Who you think is going to pull this one off? Lights are out on the pace car. They are going to go for it. 2 laps to go at the green. "26 cars still on the lead lap in contention for this one. 10 drivers at the front on old tires. Richie Joplin has led quite a bit of this race, in control of this restart. Here we go, what could be the final restart. of the night. Green flag is in the air. It'll be 2 to go at the line. Richie fires and is away. Richie clears Dan Tuma into 1 with Holden on the bumper. Dan Tuma still fighting up top. Richie clears him, goes through turn 2. He's got some breathing room. Holden underneath Dan Tuma for second. Scott is in the wall. Big wreck back behind. Caution is out. We'll get another green-white checker. Let's see if we can see what just happened. Looked like Scott may have bounced off the wall. Let's back it up a little bit further. We have seen a lot of drivers bouncing off that wall tonight. Looked like there may have been some contact coming through the turn. Bumps Scott up into the wall and chaos ensues behind. A lot of those drivers on fresh tires involved. Ray Hillhouse caught up in the middle of that one. He gets the wall hard. Hinkle involved. Watch Jeff Hinkle in the 23 just gets sandwiched, but manages to come out of that okay. Involved in that incident, Brian Mansfield, Ray Hillhouse, Drew Warren, Vern Springs, Scott Snodgrass, Rick Surgeon. A lot of drivers in for repairs. Meat Wagon definitely needed in turn 2. Of the top 5 right now, Kyle Holden sitting in 3rd has the freshest tires. Michael Dow back in 7th also has stopped the same lap as Holden, but 8th place AJ Gotze, 9th place Jeff Hinkle, and 10th place Zach Henson all stopped on lap 69. See if we can get a camera on Hinkle's car. He is a bit squished. See if we can get a quick word with 2nd place Mark Dan Tuma. Marcus Doug, you got me?
I got you, buddy. What's up?
Obviously a caution you did not want to see here.
No, we did not want that. Richie and I were going to kind of settle it out amongst ourselves, and then that thing had to happen.
Well, now you've got the worry of some of these guys with fresh tires did survive that and a little bit closer. Can you guys hold off guys like Kyle Holden and then further back AJ Gotze?
I don't know. Kyle's been pretty strong, even though he's on the same tire strategy. But I'm thinking it's time for like a Hail Melon or something. Just hold it wide open, see what happens.
Well, man, if you do it, trust me, we'll replay that a bunch of times, man. Good luck. It's been quite a fight up there, bud.
All right, thank you, Doug.
Well, Mark Nelson just said Hail Melon, so Who knows what's going to happen coming through 3 and 4 on that final lap. Who knows if it'll work. And everybody we've seen hit the wall in the short shoot, it has not ended well tonight, but you never know. Everybody stacked back up and ready to go. Richie Joplin, Mark Dantuma have the front row. Kyle Holden, Richie West on the second. Nick Sorensen, Gerald Poole on the third. Michael Dow, Jeff Hinkle, AJ Godsey, Mike Smith round out your top 10. Still looking at 24 cars on the lead lap. And everybody from about 8th place on back is on fresh tires. You gotta hand it to Mark Dantuma, who started tail end of the field tonight, up 25 spots into second place. Coming out of turn 4, the final restart of the night. It's gonna be a dogfight from here. Two and a half, 5 miles left to go here at the Brickyard. Green flag is in the air. Richie spins a little bit but holds on to it. Almost gets into Dantuma. Kyle Holden gives him a push into 1. And Richie clears traffic. Holden and Mark Dantuma. Caution is out. Caution is out. The field is frozen. And as long as Richie Joplin has the fuel to complete the next 2 laps, he's going to pull off the win here. Let's take a look at what happened. There's Ray Hillhouse on the start back, and they are 3 wide directly ahead of him. Albie Hewins involved, Mark Nelson involved. Oh, looks like Mark Nelson just gets yeeted. Try and get another angle on Mark to see who or what sent him around. Oh, Mark gets a big bump from behind from Donald Durant's, and anarchy breaks loose. And here they come to the finish. Richie Joplin held them off all night long. Richie Joplin gets to kiss the bricks. He wins at the Brickyard. Kyle Holden comes home in second. Mark Dantuma holds on for third. Let's talk to our top 3. Mark, quite a fight there with Holden. Just a caution come out a few seconds later. You would have had second, but still an awesome finish.
Yeah, I kind of missed the shift a little bit, and I just held it wide open and won and had that momentum, but that caution came out just a tick too soon. So, but still, yeah, good fight. I can't be too unhappy with third place considering starting in the back. So.
Biggest mover of the night, up 24 spots. That was one heck of a run tonight.
Yeah, that puts me up 66 spots for the season so far in the 3 races, and for each lap I pick up during the race, I'm donating $1 to the National MS Society. So we're 66 to the plus so far.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you, Doug.
Kyle Holden comes home in second place. Kyle, that was quite a fight there at the end, and those cautions, you had the fresher tires out there, but the cautions just did not fall your way.
Yeah, no, I think had it goes green there for at least one of those restarts, we get the win. But unfortunately, good luck. Luckily, Charles got those restarts. He was able to keep the lead, and he was able to keep in front of us.
Man, still another great night. Obviously, you came in tonight third in points. It's early in the season, not thinking too much about him, but man, you're going to move up into potentially taking the points lead tonight.
Oh yeah, possibly. Just kind of looking for some wins. So hopefully, maybe we get a win this season. This car's been a little bit rough. It's not the same as the next gen for sure. So it's been a little tough out here, but hopefully we can get a win this season.
Well, man, great job. Congratulations.
Appreciate it, Doug.
And finally, our winner, a guy who says he just is terrible in these cars, Richie Joplin. Richie, you said you were terrible in these cars, but you know what? You got the win, buddy.
Believe I finally won one while you were streaming, other than Talladega.
Other than backwards at Talladega?
Yes, it's I'm glad I won, man. It's good. I like it.
You had a ton of speed early in the race, and then after that comp caution, ended up way back in the field, had to fight your way back through. What happened on that competition caution to set you back so far?
I hit the wall coming out of the second turn. Second turn I came out, and I hit the wall, damaged my right front. And I went in there to fix the damage, and it didn't fix all of it. So the next caution came out. I used my fast repair and fixed the car, and I looked up on all the pitting and the cautions and stuff like that I looked up and won.
Well, man, you got it done tonight. That was an awesome fight, especially on old tires there at the end. Even Angie's cheering you on. Great job tonight, buddy. Congratulations. That was an awesome win.
Thank you, Doug.
Richie Joplin gets the win. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And huge shout out to Mark Dantuma for what he is doing this season. And that means a lot. Hope you guys had as much fun as we did tonight. We'll see you tomorrow for some trucking in the morning with Angie, some Call of Duty in the afternoon with me, and some Jones BS Racing tomorrow night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night.